What's up, guys? This is Dr. Grant Olson from Innovative Dental, and I'm super excited to share this amazing technology. I'm super passionate about it. I think it's going to really change the way that we look at full arch prosthetics, the implant placement, the whole thing. It's going to change today. So when we talk about this, can't wait to share it with you. A couple things you're going to get this full arch protocol that's going to help you learn how we are using a screwless system. And then by the end, I'm going to share with you something I think is going to be help revolutionize the way that you present treatment and help more people be able to do full arch implant prosthetics, which I think, that's what we want to be about. And so I'm going to share some of those methodologies and kind of ideas at the end of the presentation. So stick around till then. I want to make sure that I give credit where credit's due. I want to honor those who have given me this opportunity to share this and kind of utilize this technology. So thanks so much to Ro, BJ, Alan, Chris over there at RODO Dental Lab. And then also want to thank Young at RODO. So you guys are awesome. Thanks for creating this technology and making these things possible. Let's go ahead and jump into a little bit about who we are here at Innovative Dental. This is the beautiful place that I get to go work at. I'm really excited about being able to walk in here every day. It's almost impossible not to be kind of stoked to do some dentistry every day when you come here. But as beautiful as this place is, we have some really beautiful people. So here's our team. Amazing crew here at Innovative Dental. We kind of call ourselves a smile crew. So they're all smiles, not just for photos, but every day, and they make a big difference and allow us to do this amazing treatment for our patients. So thank you for the team at Innovative Dental. And then obviously we all have teams at home. This is my support team at home. This is my kiddos. On the right, we got our daughters, Gabby and Hallie. They're 11 and 13, and my son Riley, who's 6, and my beautiful wife there in the middle. They're a great support team, encouraging me all along and making sure that they're a part of this dream of helping transform the way people view dentistry. And this step of utilizing this technology is just part of that. So what if I wasn't doing dentistry? What would I do? It would 100% be doing grillings, like open a restaurant, do something with barbecue. I mean, I love the smoke, put a cold beverage in my hand and some smoke and some meat on a grill. And I'm a pretty happy guy. So I'm kind of cheating here. We're merging the two together. We're doing dentistry with an amazing, people. We do happy hours for our team to really kind of wind down, connect, and celebrate what we're doing for our patients. So, but speaking of cooking, let's go ahead and jump into an analogy I'm going to use throughout the day. So this analogy is obviously we've got eggs, we got flour, we got sugar. You'll probably find that if you just taste any one of them by themselves, they're not very good. You probably wouldn't enjoy it. So, but when you put it together, you have something that we like cake, right? We celebrate this at all of the celebrations in our lives, right? We love cake. So cake's a big deal, but you'll notice this cake here is really missing something. And so it's missing something that maybe might make it a little sweeter, might make it a little over the top, and you're probably thinking, I already know what it's missing. Maybe she was gonna put it on here at the end, but it is the icing. So I feel like this is, we even love icing so much we call, put icing on top, right? So that's a phrase, and that's because that is something that really makes something complete almost, right? And full arch dentistry, I really feel like this technology we're going to talk about today is just that. It's going to be helping us think about how do we complete this full arch dentistry and make it as amazing as possible for our patients and really put the icing on top. So this is obviously some prosthetics without any screws. Today you're going to see obviously chrome guided smile. We'll go through that. For those who aren't familiar, you'll get to see a little bit of illustration of how that surgery goes. You'll be able to also see the Smileloc system that we'll talk about, some of the technology, and you'll also be able to appreciate the new RODO model that's going to be part of the key component that makes this possible. There's a good image of that. So we're going to be changing the whole industry with this. That's pretty fun, right? So first thing I think we got to get out of the way is we really got to discuss this technology. I feel like for me, when I first heard about it, I'm like, how does this work? I don't understand it. And so the technology is a huge component to really figure out how this is working in the mouth, how it is holding a prosthetic in place when we don't have screws. And so we're going to go first on that. Second one's going to be advantages. We're going to go over, because I think it's really obvious, right? You just remove screws and holes, and that's the first thing that comes to your mind, and we're like done with it, right? Those are all the advantages. And as we've used this and thought through what are the advantages for our patients, there's so many advantages that you'll see that maybe weren't as obvious. And so that's what you're going to see as we go through it. Also, we're going to go over the challenges, because I think It's really important to see why is this something that maybe you haven't heard of yet, or what are some of the challenges to implementation and making it work correctly in the mouth. I've got a video and I'll kind of narrate that for you and kind of make sense on how our solution is going to overcome that. So our solution to how we're going to use this amazing tech to transform the way we think about full arch is going to overcome this challenge that we have. So, all right, so first let's dive into the technology. I mentioned those three components, but we're going to give the focus to RODO Smileloc, but the other two that are really important are Chrome Guided Smile and the RODO models. Really, this recipe is not complete. This cake that we're making is not complete without those. But I'll admit, the first time you use this technology, it feels, I know I'm being a little silly here, but you kind of feel like it's almost wizardry. It's weird, it's interesting. You're like trying to figure out how this is working. But that's kind of the first experience I had with it. Matter of fact, my kids and my wife, we played with the models at home and they were all kind of like, wow, this is really interesting. So this image now gets rid of the wizardry and helps make it a little more clear what's really going on. So these are the components that work with this RODO Smileloc system. On the far left, you'll see it's a locked Smileloc. So Smileloc is a key component. Think of it as what would be the screw, right? It's the retention device in the whole prosthetic that holds this prosthetic in place. So you have this in its locked form, which you'll see is got these tabs kind of kicked out and in. And then you'll see it in its unlocked form. This is a nitinol metal alloy that has a memory capacity that changes based off of energy. And a lot of you might have these induction ovens at home. Those induction ovens allow for us to, use metal and heat them with magnetism. And that's exactly what this Smile Key is doing. So the Smile Key is able to send energy into this Smileloc, and it actually makes it go to its relaxed form and now releases from this special multi-unit abutment, MUAs. So, and then obviously there's a special coping I didn't put on here, but these MUAs, these Smilelocs will release from, and now you can release the whole prosthetic. So that's the componentry minus maybe, like I said, a few other things I'll show you here along the way. I kind of feel like if you've been to Disney World, this is kind of like you just swing a wand at it and it just changes from this lock state to unlock state, and now it just releases. But here is maybe a little more clear example of what's really going on with a high-speed camera. I'll let it play a few times so you can see this, but the Smileloc, as this induction energy is heating up this Smileloc to 55 degrees Celsius, is kind of the conversion state. It'll now release and go into that unlocked form. This video here, I'll narrate as I play it, but it is going over the whole RODO Smileloc system. And you'll notice the MUAs, you've got angled ones, I think probably at 17 or 30 degrees there in the distal implants. They work with a lot of different implant lines. I'll show you that slide here in a bit. That'll show you which ones, but there's the screws that will hold in your MUAs, and then you've got your Smileloc and your special coping that's designed to lock into your Smileloc. And as you'll see, these components will go together, and as you put them together in the mouth, they'll snap in, and there it is, it's locked, but then you hit it with the energy from the Smile Key, and voila, it releases. So there's kind of a good example of how that works. Now I know for you, it's like, okay, that's cool, it's simple, it seems oversimplified. If it's that easy, what's the catch, right? We all gotta wanna know, a new technology comes across our desk and we're going, okay, there's gotta be something that maybe doesn't work like we expected. So I think this section here is gonna answer some of those questions. And it's shocking how many things there's really hardly any disadvantage to this technology. So one of them is the retention strength. You're gonna go, how's this thing gonna hold up? Is it gonna stay in place? Is it gonna release? It's got better retention strength than every dental cement on the market. So if you're trusting dental cements, we can sure trust the Smileloc. Tolerance, like, are these parts gonna fit well with our implants? Are they gonna fit like our OEM parts? And you'll notice that the tolerances here with the RODO Smileloc components, they are at tighter tolerances than the OEM products. So that's encouraging, right? They're machining these things to a really nice fine detail. The other one is activator, like by thermal energy. Is this going to release from the mouth accidentally? Are they going to have some hot coffee and all of a sudden they're losing their prosthetic? I tested this at home just to be practical with it. We put it in under hot water, the arch at our house, and I could not get it to release with hot water. So, I mean, obviously the hot water that we were using would have hurt any patient in the mouth. So far beyond the tolerances for relieving or releasing that Smileloc. But this shows you that with the activation of the Smile key, we're far below any sort of risk of damage to the abutments, to the bone around our abutments or implants. The other one would be sterilization. How clean can we use these in the mouth and make them safe? Obviously, we can sterilize them many times and they still have the same shape memory, so there's no real loss of function when we sterilize these components, which I thought was kind of fascinating. I thought heat hardening, maybe we would lose some of the strength, but no. Another big one would be bacterial ingress. Are we gonna have issues with bacteria getting up underneath these since they're not maybe screwed down tight, they're just snap tight? And so here's a study showing how they really are great at preventing, much better than what we're dealing with here, screw retained crowns as far as bacteria. I told you I'd show you the slide, and it shows you really the compatibility is pretty impressive, right? We're able to work with BioHorizons, Zimmer, Neodent, Nobel Biocare, and Straumann implants. So quite a wide range of implants that we can use this technology on. We'll go ahead and move along to advantages. So I want to talk about some of the things that are maybe not as obvious, that are far beyond the fact that we don't have screws here. And so I think it'll all come into play, and you really kind of make you pretty excited about utilizing this and engage you to maybe try this as soon as you can, right? As soon as you feel confident that you understand how to perform this procedure. So if I go back and kind of give us a little history lesson here, you have obviously many different ways to bake a cake, and that's kind of what this would be here. You have the traditional way of doing full arch. You rubber dam, you're using a denture conversion, you're using, like this is a lower, you're using the retromolar pad to index, so it's not as accurate. So thank goodness for Chrome comes along and they're like, hey, this could be done better. This traditional approach, we can use Chrome Guided Smile. And so we're using a rigid platform. We're using something that's much more accurate. Obviously has other advantages of guided surgery. So, with bone reduction and implant placement, but we still have holes, obviously we've got to deal with. And these holes, because we're capturing from the top on impression copings that have divergence, those holes have to be a certain size, right? So that seating of that prosthetic means that we've got these larger holes, and those holes have to be addressed by filling them back in. And so you got a little bit weaker prosthetic because you have these larger holes, and then you've got the occlusion you got to kind of mess with here, and screws. So RODO goes, let's keep on innovating. Let's figure out how to make a better cake. And so they come up with this idea, like, why don't we do this extraoral conversion with a model called C2F, and let's drill these holes from the base of our prosthetic. That way we can do divergent, real small holes. And that's this amazing prosthetic here in the middle that has small hole technology. And then finally, what we're going to talk about today is, you've already seen the model, but it's RODO, and we'll utilize a RODO model to do this. Some other advantages you might not have thought of, but if we're able to place our copings right in the middle of our prosthetic, because we're no longer worried about screw access holes, we get better strength. So our strength of our prosthetic is going to be much better for our patients, and fewer visits back to us for repair or damage. And obviously a longer lasting temporary, which is just a fantastic way to help our patients. Also, you spend lots of time, right, developing these occlusions, these bites. We take bite records, send them in, and try to make sure they're really accurate. And then we mess them up all because we drill giant holes through them. So since we're not drilling holes through it, our occlusion stays pristine. You also notice that you're going to have reduced chair time adjustments because you're not adding and removing composite and adjusting all these large holes. And then you obviously get to send your patient home with this full anatomy prosthetic. So huge advantages there with just the quality of the prosthetic.